still there. They're trying their best to survive, and poor Mano, he keeps thinking they'll probably be stuck on this island forever. Until one day, this guy goes fishing. His name is Peter Warner. Peter Warner, he's an Australian, and he's the captain of a fishing boat. And he and his small fishing crew, they're out one day, cruising around the Tongatapu area looking for good spots to fish. And on their way home, they just happen to pass by the little island of Ata. So Peter is looking at this island through his binoculars, and he notices something weird. There are burn patches on the cliffs, in areas that would normally be green. And Peter, he knows of Ata, and he knows this island is uninhabited. So what would cause a fire? And so he keeps looking, and he looks closer, and then he sees one of the boys. And the boy, he also sees Peter's boat. And then he gets all excited, and he jumps off the cliff into the water, and he starts swimming straight toward that boat. And then Peter sees the other 4 boys on the shore, and they're all screaming their ass off, trying to get his attention. And Peter's like, what the fuck is all this? I mean, he thinks these kids are all somehow native to this island or something. But then the first boy reaches his boat, and he starts speaking to him in English. And he tells him that they've been stranded on that island for over a year. And so Peter invites all the boys on board to his boat, and he redirects it to shuttle them all back home to Tongatapu. And finally, after being stranded on a deserted island for 15 months, they're all home. But it's not over. Remember when they first left Tongatapu and they stole a boat from a fisherman they didn't like? Well, this fisherman, he is not happy to see them. I mean, they took his boat, and after all this time, he's still salty about it. So he goes and he presses charges, and bam, all 6 boys are arrested and thrown in jail. However, Peter Warner, he's a crafty guy, and he knows these boys' story of survival is an incredible story. So he hits up the manager of a television network in Sydney called Channel 7, and he negotiates with Channel 7, and he sells part of the film rights to the boys' story to them so that they can make a documentary about it. Then he uses that money to pay off that grumpy-ass fisherman to compensate him for his stolen boat in exchange for the fisherman dropping the charges. Once the charges are dropped, Mano and the boys are finally let out of jail. A few days later, the boys help film a documentary for Channel 7 that Peter Warner had agreed to, where they all go back to the island and recreate some of the events that happened. And that's where I got all these pictures that I use in this video. The boys went back to the island and they recreated them for the documentary. And to this day, Mano and Peter are still friends. So that's nice. And here's a picture of Peter and all the boys together.